This week on Indie News, what if you could save money by 3D printing filmmaking equipment yourself at home? Next, we take a look at new and improved editing software for your phone. And finally, a certain tech giant wants to focus on making small-budget, Oscar-worthy films. But first, a big thanks to Storyblocks for sponsoring this video. As a documentary filmmaker and editor, there are plenty of times when I can't go out and shoot the footage that I may need. Subscribing to a monthly plan on Storyblocks is the best way to get studio quality clips at an affordable rate. Hey Indie Mogulers, Griffin here. As you know, on Indie Mogul, we love DIY projects and we love filmmaking gear. But what if you could save some money on what is normally very pricey filmmaking gear by sharing in the manufacturing process? What if you could build part of the product in your home with a 3D printer? Edelkrone makes all sorts of filmmaking equipment, like sliders and dollies that are particularly portable. One unique design is their FlexTilt 2, which you can mount on your tripod for flexible pan tilt movements. This is actually where our story begins, because the FlexTilt will be the first product that you can buy from Edelkrone and 3D print yourself. As of last week, the company launched a program called Ortak, which is a co-manufacturing initiative that allows people to build their products at home. In the case of this FlexTilt head 3D, Edelkrone will send you a few critical pieces that can't be printed, such as CNC machined aluminum joints, along with plans for 3D models. So you're expected to print those with your own 3D printer at home and assemble all the parts together, following the guide they provide you online. Edelkrone says this co-manufacturing approach is a way to cut costs and save you some money, but you can still have high quality filmmaking gear. So for example, the FlexTilt Head 2 retails for $149, but the 3D printed version only costs you $29. So you're slashing 80% of the price if you already have an expensive 3D printer at home. But hey, if you already have the gear, why not save the money? In the description of Ortak on their website, they wrote this: soon, 3D printers will be in every house. If you don't already have access to a 3D printer, it may be time to invest in one and make Ortak products even more feasible and see the time it takes for a return on investment drop drastically. We foresee a future in which visionary companies will use Ortak co-manufacturing method to decrease costs for both the company and the customer while enabling highly customizable and more personal products. If you look online and YouTube, there's already a history of people using 3D printers to make their own custom filmmaking parts, lens adapters, battery holders, all sorts of things. You'll remember from a recent Indie Mogul video with Eric Beck, he says 3D printing is great for filmmaking and prop building. What Edelkrone is saying is that as a filmmaker, you may want to invest in a 3D printer because it's more than just props. It could be all the gear you use. We'll see if this Ortak manufacturing method catches on. Maybe there'll be a whole inventory of filmmaking equipment that you can build yourself at home. But anything that uses DIY to make filmmaking more affordable, that gets my Indie Mogul seal of approval. Editing software on mobile devices is not a new innovation. I've used iMovie and Adobe Premiere Rush on my iPhone, but the company LumaTouch hopes to make a splash here. They say they have dramatically enhanced the new version of their iOS editing app, LumaFusion. It was initially released in October 2017, but as of June 15th, version 2.0 comes with a complete overhaul. They doubled the number of available audio and video tracks to 6 each, streamlined the UI with new vector icons, added a timeline overview feature to quickly navigate through an edit, and supported timeline markers for adding comments. All of this seems pretty standard compared to traditional editing software on a computer. But there are some new unique features you can only find on a mobile device. You can connect your phone to an external display to enlarge your timeline work area, and they've improved the way the phone handles media management. Apart from this clearly improved functionality, I was impressed to see that it could handle multiple video files at the same time. It doesn't let you play them back in real time, but it is pretty smooth to scrub through the timeline. But of course, I also wanted to compare this to Adobe's mobile editing app, Premiere Rush. Currently, LumaFusion offers more features than Rush. LumaFusion can support up to 12 tracks of editing, whereas Rush only goes up to 7. LumaFusion has a bigger library of titles and transitions. You can also do more advanced effects, like keyframing the volume of audio clips and applying chroma key to your videos. However, the big appeal of Adobe Rush is that it works with Premiere, so I can upload my project to the cloud, and now I'm editing it in regular Adobe Premiere. The idea of doing chroma key on my phone editing software seems pretty crazy to me. So clearly, Adobe Rush is built to be a fast rush experience, but LumaFusion is trying to mimic a lot of the functionality you see on computer editing software. Whether the filmmaking world even needs a fully functional piece of editing software for the phone or just something quick is up for debate. If LumaFusion sounds interesting to you, they normally sell the software for $30, which is already pretty cheap, but hey, they're selling it for half price right now until June 27th for $15. Once again, thank you to the kind folks over at Storyblocks for not only sponsoring this video, but for always providing the right stock video for any situation. I was recently shooting a project in Tokyo where you can't just fly a drone over Tokyo, so of course I turned to stock footage. They have over 700,000 clips in HD and 4K, and all of it is royalty free, so I can rest easy knowing I can use it on commercial projects or personal projects. So stop paying for individual stock video clips and check out a monthly plan at Storyblocks. Just use the Storyblocks link in our video description. So clearly the way that we consume television and movies is changing. A lot of it is moving to online streaming services like Netflix, Hulu, Amazon Video, HBO Go, YouTube Premium, Disney Plus is coming, and even Apple wants to get in on this game and become a content provider. But more than just creating their own platform, Apple really wants to win Oscars. You'll remember that Apple announced Apple TV Plus in March of this year, which is set to launch in the fall, and they put special emphasis on providing high-quality original content featuring prominent directors and actors like Spielberg, Ron Howard, Sofia Coppola, and Jennifer Aniston. This makes sense as Apple doesn't have a rich backlog of movies and television shows to stream like HBO or Disney do. Apple has decided to start financing 6 small-budget movies a year that they hope will have Oscar-winning potential. Each one of these films will have a budget somewhere between $5 million and $30 million, which, believe it or not, I always think is crazy in the filmmaking world is considered low budget. But they're inspired by films like Roma, the Netflix film that earned 10 nominations at the Academy Awards and took home 3 Oscars this year. It was produced for $20 million. Unlike most films where you can just look at box office numbers, Netflix hasn't told us the viewership of Roma, so it's hard to say how this film did financially. It is worth noting that this push is separate from the partnership that Apple made with independent filmmaking studio A24. With big tech companies essentially becoming movie studios, it'll be interesting to see how much latitude, how much creative freedom they give these filmmakers, and what kinds of films they're willing to greenlight, if it's all big budget action films or independent films. In the preview video for Apple TV Plus released in March, they called it the home for the world's most creative storytellers. So only time will tell how creative they let their storytellers be. Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of Indie News, and as always, let us know in the comments what you thought about these stories and if you have suggestions for stories we should cover in the coming week. And be sure to subscribe to Indie Mogul for more fun and educational filmmaking content like this. We'll see you next time.